Hello, today is March 9th, 2020. Today I'm going to be going over my 2024 Electoral College prediction. If you're new to this channel, know that I predicted the 2020 election 100% correctly, mostly senators as well, 100% governor, everything. I basically got all of it correct. You can even go back on my channel and see how I handled that. I think I did that pretty good. So, over the past month that I haven't really been doing politic videos, a lot has happened. Ron Desantis has become the front runner for the 2024 Republican primary, and Kamala Harris has stayed in her same presumptuous spot. I do see her running and becoming the front runner in 2024 for the Democratic nominee. Uh, might be a little bit of competition there, but I do see how she's in office as vice president and how Biden won't likely run again and more than likely endorse her. I see everything going Harris's way. You see this color in Washington. That means safe blue. Everyone knows what blue means, Democratic. That means 15 points or more, the dark blue. This is 7 points or more likely blue, 2 points or more lean blue, and under 2 points tilt blue. Safe 15 points or more, likely 7 points or more, lean 2 points or more, and tilt under 2 points. That's for each characterization. You can see the shades. So remember. So the states I think will go to Kamala Harris by a safe margin include Washington, her home state of California, which she served as a senator, Hawaii, pretty clearly, New York, Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, not Connecticut, New Jersey. I can explain that in a second. And Maryland, and obviously DC. Might be a state then, I don't know. And Maine's first district. You might be confused to see usually safe Democratic states not on here, but I'm applying a lot of Ron DeSantis influence on here, and I usually had it around this anyway. So while New Jersey is safe, it's technically within margins and how I think it'll go, technically under 15 points, which means I put it in the likely column. I stay to that. I'm not going to go in that, oh, well, it's like 13 points. It's basically safe. I'm going to go off my margin. And you might notice how some of the states have different numbers on them, which obviously are electoral votes, than they had in 2020. Uh, they're different because each state is changing their population and representation over the years, and every 10 years is a census. Everyone knows this. They redo the electoral votes on each state. Some states change, some increase electoral votes, some lose electoral votes, and uh, California is losing an electoral vote for the first time ever, surprisingly. Texas is gaining 3, actually. So that's going to be even more of a prize to win and even more competitive. But I do have Ron DeSantis winning that, and I'll get to that in a minute. But North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming, Idaho, Utah, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, and West Virginia, Nebraska's at large, and 3rd District. I have all of those states going safe to the Republican Party. And also, if you're a Republican, you might notice there's some other states that usually are safe for the Republicans that I don't have as safe. Again, reason for that is that I think we'll go by a little bit under 15 points. Kansas, I believe, will shift to the left a few points. Not a major, significant, oh, yeah, that's going to be a blue state soon shift. But Kansas is probably going to shift a little bit to the left as it has every election for the past few ones. Uh, Along with that area of Colorado and what used to be a swing state of Missouri. Missouri, I think, will be a little bit under 15 points as well, including Montana, Mississippi, and Indiana, all basically safe Republican states. They'll go that color or whatever, no matter what. I just see them going by a little bit less than expected. Now, what was before basically safe in 2020 and 2016, or perhaps forever in the past 30 elections, not 30 elections, but 30 years, Alaska and South Carolina uh, were significantly red. That is no longer the case. South Carolina is part of the Sun Belt, which is now a very blue shifting part of the country, as the Rust Belt is gaining red population. That's why you see some of these over here: Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania. Trump almost flipped every single one of them. He flipped 3 of them back in 2016, and that's because they are changing red very quick. But so is the Sun Belt. You see Arizona and Georgia switched to the Democrats in 2020, but again, 2016, the Rust Belt went to the Republicans, and the whole Rust Belt will be red in a matter of a decade or two. But so will the Sun Belt, like I said. Actually, by 2045, every single, well, not every single state, but like the whole country will be minority white. There will be more minority races in the country than white people, which will probably not go over well with some major Republicans. But it'll be a very politically shifting conversation. Will Hispanics stay in that side of being Democratic stereotypically, or will they do what they did in 2020 and start becoming more moderate and maybe switching sides in some cases? We'll find out. Oh, I also have Colorado as safe for Kamala Harris. I did not put that down earlier. I don't know why. Now, as you see, and I put in basically safe Republican states. Now I'm going to put basically safe Democratic states: New Jersey, Delaware, Connecticut, Oregon, New Mexico, and Virginia. All, oh, and Illinois, all basically 100% going to the Democrats, but by a little bit under that safe margin I had earlier. Same with, I don't know how Nebraska's second district will shift, but I don't think it'll shift enough for the Republicans to win it, no matter what candidate. Ron DeSantis is an extraordinary candidate for the Latino. He's from Florida, which is amazing for him. That's basically locked down Florida. Florida loves him. Uh, you lock down Florida, you can focus on the Rust Belt, and if you can focus on the Rust Belt, well, Harris is defending what she probably won't win, except for maybe Michigan, then he could win. He has a without Florida, and if he's good in Texas in most polls, he should be okay. Nebraska's first district is also pretty safe, but I do see him winning Florida no matter what. It's just a matter of how much. Uh, People said that in 2016 with Hillary. I never. I didn't even think Hillary was going to win. But yeah, Florida I see is going lean Republican as of right now. If it's not lean, it's going to be likely. It depends on how Ron DeSantis caters his image to the Florida Republican Party over the next few years. But I have no doubt in my mind that he will win that state. However, neighboring Florida, I do see Harris increasing that Georgia margin that Biden got, and Warnock extended that after Biden, and Ossoff also extended Biden's lead. And I think Harris will extend it by even more, especially being part of the African American community. With Georgia being like the third most black state in the entire country, there's so much potential turnout in Georgia uh, that the Republicans have actually been trying to stop in some laws. But I do believe Georgia will be a blue state, and they've been doing so much voter suppression in the South for decades. But I do think Georgia will lock down for the Democrats by tiny margin, like 2 points, maybe up to 4 points for Harris winning Georgia. I do see Arizona also going Democratic. Uh, I don't think Ron. I think Ron DeSantis is too Republican to win the state of Arizona. He's not as Republican as Donald Trump, but he's uh, the number one choice for Trump voters if Trump doesn't run, and that already wouldn't pass over that well, as Arizona is growing blue. They now have 2 blue senators, of a competitive governor race, and they voted for Biden. So 3 out of their 4 legislation voting parts went blue. And Brian Kemp, which I believe is from Arizona or Georgia. Either way, Arizona and Georgia, I will probably keep as the same amount to the Democrats for the next year or two until I see the polling. I do believe Georgia is a little bit more Democratic than Arizona. Arizona is more of a moderate Republican area that is shifting blue, but it will be blue. I don't think it's blue right now, but the past Republicans that have run in Arizona were really bad Republicans to run there. Uh, Nevada with Kamala Harris, I used to have as likely Democratic, which is over 7 points. Uh, but with Ron DeSantis from Florida doing really good, not just among the Cuban voters there, which he has even a high approval among, I do think he will also win over a pretty good amount of Latino voters from Harris, which is what Donald Trump did for Joe Biden, except even more since I mean, honestly, just being from Florida helps you so much. Not even if you lose the state, just the Latino influence you can have on your own state's voters. I mean, he has so much advantage over Harris, but I do think there is more Democrats in the country, and Harris will win the popular vote, but will she win the electoral college is my question, and I'm finally going to get back into that in a few seconds. We have a few swing states left, including Ohio and Iowa. Less of a swing state now. It depends on how Ron DeSantis does there, but he could win it by up to like 12 points, in my opinion. I do see Harris winning the state of New Hampshire by a few points, and along with Maine's popular vote, and Minnesota by a very, very small margin. I see Ron DeSantis. If he has a good job plan, he could win almost the whole Rust Belt, just like Donald Trump did. But I do not think he can win Minnesota. Now, I do think he will carry the state of Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. The only reason I see Biden winning Pennsylvania was because he's from there, and Wisconsin uh, really was not a decisive vote for Biden at all. They went to him by a third of a point, or I think like 7/10 of a point, and that's just not enough to even think about it uh, shifting even more right, even more blue. I meant it hardly shifted to the Democrats. It was one of the least shifting states in the entire country. The state that shifted the most in the Rust Belt was Minnesota, and what was already Democrat, Michigan. Michigan never lost its Republican governor. Michigan never elected a Republican senator, but Pennsylvania and Wisconsin did after Trump. Michigan and Minnesota are not Republican, but Michigan will be soon, and Minnesota will be within the end of the decade. I do. This is where I'm confused, though. Michigan, I have as a major toss up. I do think Kamala Harris will win it as of now, but if Ron DeSantis has a really good job plan, then she's screwed. Because her job plan in 2020 not good. She'd have to follow off of what Biden advocated for in the Rust Belt. But I don't know. The three main toss-ups of the I have Maine second district is almost safe as well. The three major toss-ups of the 2020 election will decide the election. Or did I say 2020? 2024 election will decide this whole thing. I do see Ron DeSantis presumably winning Texas by a small margin, but not because he's a bad candidate. He's a good candidate. It's just Texas is shifting blue, you know. But right now, I'm conflicted on Michigan and North Carolina, and this will decide the winner. Ron DeSantis has to win both, but Harris only has to win one of them to win. Currently, I do think she will win both. I think she will do pretty good in North Carolina. Uh, one of their senators is also retiring, which I'm going to get to within the end of the week. I'm going to go over the 2022 election, which I did. Not, I don't have North Carolina as toss up anymore, but yeah, Michigan could go blue. Red, I meant. I'm very conflicted on Michigan, but that's the biggest toss up I see in this election. Second biggest toss up is North Carolina. Third, Texas, and then depends. It could be New Hampshire, but I don't know. These are the three major toss-ups that will decide uh the election, and Ron DeSantis has to win all three, and Harris only has to win one of them. So, I mean, even if she loses Minnesota, she could win Michigan and North Carolina, but there's not going to be a situation where Democrat wins Michigan, but not Minnesota. Minnesota's more Democrat, and I don't see the Rust Belt shifting by that much. But right now, I'm going back and forth between Michigan going red. Uh, but I am not sure about Michigan. I know I just said Michigan, but I'm kind of confident that North Carolina will go blue. It shifted. It's always been a Republican state, but then once Obama shifted it so far towards the Democrats in 2008, it just never went back to where it was for the Republicans. So we'll see. Right now, I mean, basically, this is my prediction. Here it's at 274. Ron DeSantis at uh 249. He has to win Michigan, North Carolina. Honestly, if he wins almost any of the tilt red states plus a toss up, he wins. But Harris only has to win one of the toss up states that I have. Again, I've said this multiple times. It's just very important to remember the states of Michigan and North Carolina over the next 3 years. Remember North Carolina and Michigan. You're going to hear it a lot, and I am probably the first person to say that the Rust Belt will be the spread, but I don't know. Thank you for watching. I'm going to hop off. Only 50% of people are subscribed. Well, blah blah. Thank you. Bye.